to let it die down. No. This time we're going all the way. We're following through. It went from that type time into, yeah, you could keep dropping as many records as you want. I'm done. Goodbye. See you later. This is the ultimate recap of the Drake versus Kendrick beef, one of the biggest moments in hip hop history. Say less, let's get it going. Yo, so Kendrick really beat this man into submission. This is a direct quote from The Heart Part 6.
You definitely got this shit burnt the fuck out though,
Like remember how this beef started? It was with Drake on TaylorMade on Instagram with the Compton Community College hoodie trolling Kendrick. You don't have nothing to drop. These guys don't know what to do. It was Drake on TaylorMade saying,
nah, not this time, nigga, you following through.
Nah, you following through, you dropping, we're going all the way this time. And by the end of it, this is the result.
I don't want to dish you anymore. You could drop 100 more records, I'll see you later.
I don't want to dish you anymore. He literally said this. You could drop 100 more records. I'll see you later. I quit. Please stop. Mercy is what he's, where's the white flag? It's a napkin, but white flag, please, bruh. Let me have some pride left. Don't make me beg you to stop this. It's like that, which I don't even think like that warranted a Drake response. I think he was just sick. I think Drake is just sick of whenever Kendrick drops a verse like a Control or like that, how it shuts the rap game down, how it puts everyone's eyes on Kendrick. I don't think Drake likes that. I think it rubs him the wrong way, like not having that spotlight and really never having dropped a verse of that magnitude. So I don't think this verse is even, it doesn't warrant a diss track like Push-Ups in that response, but Drake felt he needed to do it. And obviously the Drake diss in this song, this will be a really quick one. Prince outlived Mike Jack, which Drake responded to a couple times. You know, I posted on Twitter today, you know, I kind of wish that Drake didn't make this beef about personal lives and personal issues, because I wanted it to just be a more traditional rap battle. Who can out-reference the other person? Who is more witty with the wordplay? Who can do more on the track lyrically? And this is one part of the beef where Kendrick and Drake did that. Kendrick drops his line, Prince outlived Mike Jack, calling himself Prince, calling Drake Michael Jackson, like, yo, Prince outlived him. You may have the hits like Michael Jackson. You may be the #1 like Michael Jackson in terms of hit records, but Prince is known as the creative genius, and Prince lasted longer. And then obviously Drake would respond with
big difference between Mike then and Mike now.
He would respond to it a couple times.
What's a prince to a king? He a son, nigga. Maybe I'm Prince and you actually Mike.
And then obviously fuck the big three, it's just big me. Nigga bum. And then here's really the Drake diss right here. For all your dogs getting buried. Obviously Drake has an album called For All Your Dogs, For All the Dogs. All your dogs getting buried. That's a K with all these nines. K for Kendrick, K with all these nines, Glocks, guns, 9mm, K9, dogs. You know, it's wordplay. This is what beef is about, man. But instead it turned into some, yo baby mama fucked my little cousin's brother, therefore you're a bitch. Like it turned into some Zeus TV, Bad Girls Club type shit. That's because of Drake mentioning Whitney on Push-Ups. But anyways, this video is sponsored by Aura. Data protection is more important than ever in 2025. Every day, our personal information is being bought and sold online by shady companies. This can lead to sensitive details being leaked to who knows where. And trust me, I've been there. Take spam calls, for example. If you're anything like me, your day might start with an annoying call that you didn't ask for, just when you're expecting something important, like a job interview. Thankfully, today's sponsor, Aura, has the tools to fight back. Aura offers a powerful suite of data security features, but one of my personal favorites is the data broker opt-out. Here's how it works. Aura stops companies from collecting and selling your personal information. That means fewer spam calls, fewer targeted ads, and a much lower risk of identity theft. The endless selling of your data, that's the main reason spam calls keep happening. Aura helps you take back control. The best part, Aura combines all these tools into one app at an affordable price. I'm not leaving myself vulnerable to data breaches, and you shouldn't either. Head to aura.com/top5troy to try Aura free for 2 weeks. That's plenty of time to see if any of your data has already been exposed and take action. Protect your privacy today with Aura. When this beef first started, I thought Push-Ups was a great track. I thought it was a great opening track for Drake to, take shots at Kendrick at. The more I re-listen to these Drake disses, like the more I realize that his disses towards Kendrick they don't really hit like they supposed to. Like right here, this line right here, pull your contract because we got to see the split. Way you doing splits, bitch, your pants might rip.
The way you doing splits, bitch, your pants might rip.
Drake takes this angle of, your splits and your contract is all fucked up when somebody being Pusha T already took that angle on Drake.
You signed to one nigga that signed to another nigga that signed to three niggas.
You signed to this nigga who signed to that nigga, your contract is all fucked up. Pusha T said this years ago, years before the story of Adidon and the Sun reveal and all that. So I don't really understand this shot at Kendrick because the same could be said for Drake. And that's what Kendrick did on Euphoria. He says, let's speak on percentage. Show me your splits. I'll double back with you.
You was signed to a nigga that signed to a nigga that said he was signed to that nigga.
That's why Kendrick said that. It was in response to this. Like, bruh, the same thing you're trying to say to me is like, we've been saying about you. Right here. What the fuck is this, a 20v1?
What the fuck is this, a 20v1, nigga?
Now, when I first heard this bar, I thought it was good. I thought it was like, yes, like Drake, he got that energy. It's him versus Future versus Kendrick versus Metro versus all Weeknd, all these dudes. So 20v1, obviously that's the YouTube series where I think it's like a dating series or something. It's popular right now though. But Drake flipped it and he's like, yo, what is this, a 20v1? Like me versus all y'all? I think this is a good bar actually. But the way Kendrick flipped it on Euphoria.
Ain't 20v1, it's 1v20 if I gotta smack niggas that right with you.
He just completely shut this bar down. You can't re-listen to this song and listen to this bar without thinking about what Kendrick said. Ain't 20v1, it's 1v20 because I gotta smack niggas that right with you. It's not 20v1, it's me versus you and all your ghostwriters. I actually think these Weeknd disses are good. I don't have a problem with those. Here's another bar that just did not age well. Get more love in the city that you from. So Drake is basically saying like, yo, I get more love in LA than you do, Kendrick. Which, I mean, we obviously seeing that's completely false. I mean, from the Pop Out show to the Not Like Us video, bro, like people are still bumping Not Like Us in LA. It's gonna be one of those classic songs like California Love, like All Eyes on Me by Tupac. And here's the line that just completely, this is why Drake got done the way he did. Name dropping Kendrick's lady. And Drake did this to Pusha T also. He said something on Duppy Freestyle.
Man, I'ma let it ring on you like Virginia Williams.
Let it ring on you like Virginia Williams or something like that. I don't know why Drake's angle in beefs is to mention the women that these guys are dating, but it's super offensive. So this is the bar that took it from just, okay, a rap battle to where, okay, now we're gonna drop Meet the Grams. Now we're gonna talk about, you and these young women allegations. Now we're just gonna take it to a place we didn't have to take it. Yeah, but as a whole, I wasn't mad at this record, Push-Ups. I thought it was a good angle, the Top Dog angle, like using Top Dog against Kendrick, basically saying you're getting extorted and Top Dog is not gonna save you. We're not piecing it up. I thought it was a good angle overall. Now, tailor-made freestyle. So I think just as a whole, this song has just aged very terribly. And again, I liked this song. You can go watch my reaction to this song. I thought it was funny. A lot of people, and I'm from LA, like the Tupac and Snoop Dogg AI voices, I didn't take that as disrespectfully as others took it. But Kendrick obviously took it very offensively. I thought Taylor Made Freestyle was funny, but the entire song as a whole has not aged well. You can see Drake is just clowning right here. Yo, the nigga 5'5", heard it on the Joe Budden podcast. It's gotta be true. This bar ain't aged well. Fuck this Canadian light skinned out. We need a no debated West Coast victory. That's literally exactly what happened. Kendrick got a decisive, no debate West Coast victory. There is no confusion amongst normal people of who came out on top here. that aged very poorly. Drake said this shit like clowning, but that's actually what happened. A no debated West Coast victory. Talk about him liking young girls. So Drake already knows what the shots on him are going to be. And I think by doing this, Drake wanted to do, the Eminem 8 Mile thing where he before his opponent disses him, Eminem says all the things like, yeah, I'm white. Yeah, I live with my mom. So now when his opponent says it, it doesn't hit as hard. So I think that's what Drake was trying to do. He's trying to get ahead of the young girl, you know, allegations. But obviously that didn't work at all because when Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, it was just completely off the Richter scale. More foreshadowing by Drake. It was me, Snoop Dogg, had my shirt off in the House of Blues. He's talking about Tupac. And then here comes Kendrick with probably the best show LA has seen in hip hop since that Tupac Dog Pound House of Blues show. Right here. But right now, it seemed like you posted up without a clue of what the fuck you about to do. Now, if you weren't here, if you weren't watching this beef develop after the Like That record, you won't really catch how much Drake was like trolling Kendrick. I really think Drake thought Kendrick was not going to respond. That's why he's coming at him like this. And Taylor Made Freestyle came after Push Up, so Drake dropped 2 in a row. He's like, and he's on also, this is what history's going to forget. Drake is on Instagram. He's trolling Kendrick. He's making these posts. He's got a Compton Community College sweater on. He's like, yo, these dudes don't know what to do. Like, this one line encapsulates how Drake thought Kendrick was moving. And right here, this is probably the worst aged bars in the entire diss. Remember what I just said, how Drake was trolling Kendrick. How are you not in the booth? Feel like you kind of removed. You trying to let this shit die down? Nah, nigga, you following through. What the fuck is taking so long? We waiting on you. And then when Kendrick started dropping, it goes from this bravado to On the Heart Part 6. Drake is like, yeah, you burnt this out. Like, you doing too much. I don't want to rap anymore. Like, you burnt it out. You dropped too much, bro. Like, this shit is old now. Like, shit changed that quickly, like in a matter of 8 days. Nigga went from, nah, you trying to let this die down? Nah, not this time. You following through. He went, you know, what's taking? So we waiting, bro. Where you at? It went from that type of timing to, all right, bro, I'm done. I don't want to rap anymore. You know, this is getting, you burnt it out, man. Like, you went too far. And just more trolling. You know, Kendrick, I know you in that New York apartment. You're struggling right now. In a notepad, you're doing lyrical gymnastics. You better have a quintuple entendre, some shit we don't even understand. He was on that type of timing. Okay, so Family Matters. A lot of people like this song, and I understand why. It's a good beat. I mean, it's a well-produced song, great quality. But I don't think any of the disses on this song to any of the artists who Drake dissed, because he's not just going at Kendrick in this song, he's going at others too. Hey y'all, I am a one-man show. I record, edit the video myself, create the thumbnail, everything. So hitting like and subscribe does help a bunch. Thanks so much. Back to the video. A$AP Rocky, The Weeknd. I don't think any of the disses pass even a little bit of scrutiny. Once you look at the diss and analyze it just at a basic level, it's like, bro, like this is not like a great diss. It's a good record. It's not a great diss record. So the first time I heard this, and I might have said this in my reaction, I don't know why Drake thought it was a good idea to shout out YG, who's from Compton, to shout out The Game, aka Chuck Taylor, who's from Compton.
You know who really bang except my nigga YG.
I don't know if that's gonna work out well for Drake. I don't think YG is gonna pick you over Kendrick. I think Drake started out the verse doing this because he thought that he would be able to turn YG in The Game against Kendrick because he has songs. Drake has songs with YG. I think, yeah, Who Do You Love in The Game. But he doesn't seem to quite understand that the Compton comes before the Kendrick and YG's and Game's Compton affiliation comes before Drake doing them a feature. Like you're not gonna get YG to be like, oh yeah, I'm rolling with Drake. And YG popped out at the Pop Out show. He's in the Not Like Us video. Like, and even The Game. After Drake said this, we saw Game kind of hop in the arena, but Game went at Rick Ross, who was going at Drake. Game didn't go at, notice how Game didn't go at Kendrick. He was like, all right, Drake, you still fucking with me? All right, boom. Rick Ross, I'll lyrically try to jar with him, but I don't know why Drake thought that this was a good idea to shout these guys out as if they're going to turn cold. Like, they're all from Compton. YG's from Compton, Kame's from Compton, Kendrick's from Compton. they probably know each other. If they probably grew up, like, maybe not the game, he's older, but YG and Kendrick, or if they didn't grow up together, they have mutual friends. Their uncle knows his uncle. Like, it's too many connections for you to think that you're gonna like cause to make somebody turncoat. I just thought this was a dumb set of bars the first time I heard it. He said, you say you hate the girls I fuck, but what do you really mean? I've been with black and white and everything that's in between. You the black messiah wifing up a mixed queen. I don't even understand how this is a diss. Drake fans, you got Drake dick in your mouth, please help me take it out and then go in the comments or keep it in, whatever you do, and help me understand this. How is dissing how do you go from saying I've been in with black and white girls, but the punchline is you are with a half black, half white girl? Like how, like, let me know in the comments. Say you hate the girls I fuck, but what you really mean? So this Drake, because on Euphoria, Kendrick says,
we hate the bitches you fuck cause they confuse themselves with real women.
Is Drake taking that diss that Kendrick threw at him from Euphoria and saying, oh, you only hate the girls I fuck because they're not black? Or I don't understand what he's really responding to. You're the black messiah wifing up a mixed queen, which I don't think anyone who seriously listens to Kendrick's music believes he's a black messiah. He doesn't even make that type of music, right? But even so, you wiped up a half black, half white. Like, I don't understand this shot, right? And hit Vanilla Cream to help out with your self-esteem. Basically saying, okay, you fuck white women because you have low self-esteem. But Drake, you just admitted that you've been with white girls too. Like, again, when you just listen to this song and you're not really paying attention and you're just like a service level listener, you're not trying to go deep, it sounds good because, I mean, he sounds good rapping. But when you just like under a little bit of scrutiny, none of this shit makes that much sense. On some Bobby shit, I want to know what Whitney need. All that puppy love was over in y'all late teens. Again, so this is like some, you dissing somebody because he's not in the honeymoon phase with his girl anymore. How is that a diss? Like, it's like, okay, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you're watching the video. That's like me responding saying, well, you and your girl are not in puppy love stage anymore. That's me. You might diss me in the comments and I'll respond, well, you and your girl are not in the puppy love stage anymore. That's not a diss, bro. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? And why is, like, come on, bro. I think this age, I actually don't know whose kid is whose. I don't care. I actually don't like when rap beefs, which is more of a recent thing. I don't like when they go in this direction of talking about whose baby mama, my nephew's cousin fucked your auntie's best friend, so you're a bitch. I don't care about these niggas' personal lives. Not Kendrick's, not Drake's, don't care. But I think this one aged poorly because the Drake fans, they're so mad, like, oh, Kendrick is just saying things that's not true about the certified lover boy, certified, young girls and all this. He's lying. We don't even know if it's true, but we don't know if this is. If that's your angle, then you have to feel the same way about this. You don't know if this is true. So if you're saying like the Kendrick disses are not hard because what he's saying ain't true, you should keep the same energy. We don't know if this is true. If you hear Drake do this bar, Drake emphasizes Dave Free. Heard one of them kids might be Dave Freeze, and he drags it. So Kendrick takes that, and then on Not Like Us, he drags a minor. So it's like Kendrick was rebuttaling the shit out of this. I'm just telling y'all why Drake lost. When Drake drops the push-ups and the tailor-made, I was like, yo, Kendrick got to do something, bro. Like, this is not looking good. I think I'm as impartial as it gets, man. So here's another bar. This isn't to Kendrick, but I have to point this out. Rakim talking shit again. Rakim is ASAP Rocky. That's his real name, Rakim. Gas because you hit my BM first. Which is crazy to admit a nigga did that. It's just crazy just to casually admit that on the record. But do the math. Who was I hitting then? So I don't really need to look at the Genius notes to see what this is about. Drake is basically saying, yeah, crazy. Yeah, you fuck my baby mother first. But during the time you fucked my baby mother, I was fucking Rihanna, or I was dating Rihanna. That's what he's trying to say. And again, if you just hear this and it's just like, you don't really pay too much attention and you're not really trying to look deep, you're like, okay, yeah, he threw a bar. But think about it, right? You, the viewer watching this, if let's say I have a baby mom, you knew her first and you hit it first, right? And we have beef, right? You knew her first and you hit it first. But for you, she was just a smash and pass. For me, I got her pregnant. Like, this is the mother of my child. So we already know that's an L. I mean, Drake pretty much admits it. But what if I respond and saying, okay, yeah, you hit my baby mother first. She was a smash piece. At the same time, I was dating your baby mother, Rihanna. But I was actually in love with Rihanna at the time. You ended up taking her and then putting babies in her too. What it sounds like is you're taking all my chicks. Like you fucked on my baby mom before I knew her. And the girl I was hitting at the time, who Drake was in love with Rihanna. He was publicly professing his love for Rihanna.
She's someone I've been in love with since I was 22 years old. All my adult life, I've looked up to her even though she's younger than me.
You hit my BM first, cool. But at the time I was dating the girl, I was dating your wife at the time. But I was in love with her. She wasn't really fucking with me like that, or whatever the case may be. Then you picked her up. Now you put babies in her, and now y'all, bro, it's like you're taking all my chicks. And then it's compounded by the fact, like, how is this even happening to Drake like this by someone like A$AP Rocky? Drake is like the highest tier rapper you can be in terms of publicity, sales. He's like an S tier rapper. There's S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. Drake is like on the top tier, S tier. A$AP Rocky is definitely not an S tier rapper. He doesn't even have that much music. And he's not, I wouldn't even say A$AP Rocky is an A tier rapper. A$AP Rocky is like a B tier rapper. So how is he even still, how is he able to take your chicks like this, bro? Like, it's just wild. This part right here is just wild to admit this on the record. And then to try to flip it like you wasn't in love with the chick. And now they got 3 kids together. That's crazy. Here, Drake is alleging that Baby Keem writes Kendrick's raps. Drake has actually alluded to this years ago. If you watch, I think it's an Elliott Wilson interview that Drake did like right after his house got built or something. He basically alluded to, yeah, shout out to Baby Keem. He writes Kendrick's records or his rhymes. He's basically alluded to that. So I don't know about that. I don't enjoy Baby Keem lyrics at all, but I think this is something that Drake seems like he knows it for a fact because he's felt like that for years already. This right here, Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone go hand him a Grammy. This line just, okay, I know it's funny, it's haha, but it just reeks of jealousy. Like, who is even talking Grammys for you to say this? It just reeks of jealousy because obviously Kendrick has more Grammys than Drake. Kendrick has way more. It's not even close. Kendrick could stop making music right now and Drake can keep going. I don't think Drake would ever even catch him. So it just reeks of jealousy. Like we wasn't even talking Grammys. You want to take up for Pharrell, then come get his legacy out of my house. I think he's talking about all the chains that he wore in the Family Matters video. Like I said in my reaction, that scene of Drake wearing Pharrell's jewelry, it would have hit harder if those were stolen. But Drake bought those at an auction because he's a huge Pharrell fan. Like, Drake is a fan of Pharrell. That's why he bought the jewelry. And then Drake, on a Travis Scott song, he claimed that he melted Pharrell's change, like trying to be, petty. But we see in the video, oh, you didn't melt the chains, and you bought those chains for millions of dollars. And again, just something like, y'all gotta explain to me how this is a diss. Wearing a nigga's chains that you bought in the video and you flexing the chain. Like, nigga, you bought that off me. I sold that to you. Like, it's not a flex, bro. I didn't want him no more. This line got rebutted to hell on Meet the Grams. Drake says, you right, it's fuck Big 3. It's only Big D. It's like a double entendre. Big D being Drake. And apparently, like, Drake's dick pic was out there. I don't know. I didn't go look for, the visuals of it. But Kendrick rebutted the shit out of this on Meet the Grams.
And calling them tender, then leak videos of themselves to further push their agenda.
He's basically saying like, yeah, this nigga's a predator, and he's leaking videos of himself to further this predator agenda, to further get the young girls on. He's leaking videos like this of himself. He's a sick man. Like, he just rebutted the shit out of that. Our son should go play at the park. 2 light-skinned kids, that will be cute. I mean, okay, so this is another one of those disses where I don't know where the punch is. Where's the punch at? It's a diss because this kid is light-skinned. Is this kid light-skinned? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't get where the shot about this is. Again, Drake fans, you know, remove genital and then type in the comments. What's so hard about this? I do like this bar right here. Blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. You like to put gin in your juice. You'd like to think you bishop in juice. I do like that. Here's the allegations of Kendrick being a wife beater. Again, like if you're a Drake fan, or you feel like Kendrick's, you know, disses are not good because he's lying or something, you have to feel the same way about this. Or you feel like Kendrick don't have proof, you got to feel this, like there's no proof of this. And then this is like how women would diss each other. You're not married yet. You got proposed in 2015. Y'all don't live in the same house. Like, what type of shit is this, bro? What type of shit is this? I do like what Drake did with the Michael Jackson and Prince bars. I like that Kendrick and Drake, they were like, kind of like, Kendrick did it first. Yeah, he said it first on Like That, where he said Prince outlived Mike Jack. And then they just kind of kept trading this reference and then playing with it. I like that. It was like a nice show of lyricism. It's what this battle could have been if like Drake didn't go into like, okay, let me start naming your wife. And then Kendrick was like, well, if you're naming wives, I'm naming kids. And then by the way, then Drake's like, well, if you're naming kids, then I'm saying you're a wife beater. And then Kendrick's like, well, you're a pedo. Like, this is where the battle could have gone. Just straight lyrics and who's the most clever, who's doing it best. I think they done this like between 3 or 4 songs. This was a nice thing they had going. And I do like these bars by Drake. Oh shit, it's all making sense. Maybe I'm preaching, you actually might. Michael was praying for feuds with chains of people who actually might. Like, I do like this part. Okay, and finally, the Heart Part 6. Now this record, you know it was a decisive victory, right? Because what Drake fans should be saying is, yo, this battle is not over. Kendrick actually lost, or Kendrick is actually losing because our guy dropped the last record. The Hard Part 6 is the last record from this beef. Like this is the last record that they dropped. So if you really felt your guy was winning, you would be like, nah, the clock is on Kendrick, right? That's what they was doing at first. Like, yo, the clock is on Kendrick. You would be like, yo, it's been a month, he ain't responded to the Hard Part 6 yet. But even Drake fans are smart enough to know like they can't do that because this is just a completely defeated sounding record. Drake don't have the spunk in his voice that he had on Push-Ups. Like, fucking Not Like Us that came out. It was going crazy. He was trying to get ahead of it. The record was rushed. Like Drake created an environment where he cannot take like a week to respond because he was trolling Kendrick for doing that. So he's created now an environment where I have to respond quickly. And I actually do think Drake wrote this record. This has Drake's flow and his cadence and like the things that Drake had in his early mixtapes, like Comeback Season. Like you can hear that this is Drake speaking. But because of that, there's like so many misunderstandings in here like, that I'll point out. And then he just sounds completely defeated. So here, I don't know what Drake is talking about. First, I was a rat, so where's the proof of the trial? Kendrick never even mentioned. I think this is Drake referencing when he got robbed and alleged, I don't know what happened, but he got robbed for something. But he's like, where's the paperwork that I snitched? Like, no one's even talking about that, bro. Here, Drake is saying that basically the information on Meet the Grams, like, we fed you false information, which could be true. It could be. Kendrick still claims that the daughter thing is real. If the daughter thing is real on Meet the Grams, that's going to be remembered as one of like the most vicious diss records of all time. Because that last record of Meet the Grams is insane. Hey y'all, I am a one-man show. I record, edit the video myself, create the thumbnail, everything. So hitting like and subscribe does help a bunch. Thanks so much. Back to the video. But Drake is basically saying, yeah, there was no mole. This is Drake responding to 616 in LA, where Kendrick is like, yo, there's a mole in your camp. We have info on you. Drake is basically saying like, there's no mole. That was us. We were playing with you. But this doesn't age well. Again, if you're just a fan who just listens and then just believes, you don't think critically for yourself, you would just be like, oh yeah, this makes total sense. But all you have to do is look at what happened when Drake dropped Family Matters. If Drake's team was the one that was feeding the false information to Kendrick, how did Kendrick know that Family Matters was going to drop and then drop 20 minutes later, Meet the Grams? And then a couple hours later, drop Not Like Us, where he mentions Family Matters. The Family Matters and the truth of the matter, those guys playing the show. Like, so Kendrick knew Family Matters was going to come out. So did y'all feed him that information too? Or like how does this work? And here's just like, again, this is more like how women and like teenagers diss each other. Why is Whitney not denying the allegations? Why is she following Dave Free and not you? Why does she follow? Why is this guy in your top friends and he's not in your top friends? So y'all are not really friends. This is like some 5th grade shit. You know what I mean? MySpace shit. You haven't seen your kid in 6 months. Like, I don't know what role stuff like this, even if it's true, what role does this have in a diss record? I don't know. Oh, I saw someone leaving heart emojis. He's following you, not you. They're leaving heart emojis. He's not in your top friends. And I saw that they, were messaging each other and he's not in your comments. Like, what the fuck type shit is this, bro? Like, even if you're a Drake fan, you cannot defend this shit, bro. The Epstein angle was what I expected. It's just crazy. Yo, that's crazy. This is like Drake admitting on Family Matters that A$AP Rocky smashed his baby mom. Like, why the fuck would, like, some shit you should just keep in your head. You cannot say so. The Epstein angle is what I expected. Why do you expect that, bro? Here's Drake completely misunderstanding the Mother I Sober song. That's why the pedo raps you're so obsessed with. He's basically saying this trauma is from your own confession. He's basically saying he misunderstands the record. The Mother I Sober record from Mr. Morale. It's about, I believe, Kendrick's mother who suffered from sexual abuse. I don't want to get this type of info wrong, but then she asks Kendrick, because it happened to her, she asks Kendrick like, yo, did he do anything to you? And then Kendrick is like, no, but he's conflicted in the record because she doesn't believe him, but he's like, no, nothing happened to me. Drake heard the record and was like, oh, so you got sexually molested. No, that's not what he says on the record. See, that's the only record where you say he got molested. And let's say he did get molested. You gonna diss a nigga because he got sexually abused as a child? Like, that's crazy. Like, come on, man. Touch My Body by Mariah Carey play, you probably start reflecting. Okay, that's funny, but it's like, bro, like, we making fun of grape victims? Is that what we doing now? Like, that's, even if that was true, that is such a disgusting angle to take. Especially when your crew is being like accused of like sexual deviancy. It's like, you gotta read the room. This is just a horrible bar. If I was fucking young girls, I promise I would be arrested. I'm way too famous for the shit you suggested. in this society right now, where the most famous people more famous than Drake, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, when these guys are going down for sexual deviancy, how do you have the nerve to say it? Like, basically, I'm too famous to be fucking young girls. I would have been arrested already. After seeing what's been happening the last couple years. Tone deaf, crazy, but that's why I say this is a rushed record. Drake wrote this himself and put it out there quickly because he didn't want to look like Not Like Us was going crazy, and he created an environment where you can't take a week to respond to a record. On Taylor Made, he created that environment. Like, nah, you're not dropping next week, you're dropping now. Drop now, drop. Like, so now he has to drop it and he puts out some rush shit. The issue is Drake didn't have anything after Family Matters. Family Matters was supposed to be the end all be all. He put all his marbles in Family Matters. That was supposed to be the nuke, and it wasn't. It wasn't. So now we get this. Mentioning A minor, but I think we all know B sharp is not, real. I still thought it was a good attempt at, rebuttaling the bars. I still thought it was a good attempt. Stop buying views and bot comments. Like, what are we talking about? Drake just takes a strange angle. Your girl is not in you are not in your girl's top 8. You're not on her close friends on Instagram. I saw one of your friends in her comments. She left a comment here. you buy in bots and comment. Like, you're like, what angle are you taking, bro? He's just grasping for anything, bro. I could give a fuck about your streaming data, but literally 2 bars ago, you're saying stop buying views, which you don't care about the streaming data. Which is it? Is it Uchiwali or is it One Mic? He said, so this is where he gives up. You could drop 100 more records. I'll see you later. I'm done. He's like, I've had enough of this. Because you gotta remember, you have to have been there. Like, but Kendrick is dropping. Kendrick he went back to back on Drake like twice. He dropped Euphoria, then he dropped 616. Then Drake drops his nuke. 20 minutes later, Meet the Grams. Then he drops Not Like Us. So yeah, Drake is like, at this point, he's like, I'm done with this shit, bro. Like, you could keep dropping. So again, remember what we went from. In Tailor Made, we went from, you better have some shit ready. You need another week. What the fuck is taking you so long? How are you not in the booth? You trying to let it die now? Nah. This time we're going all the way. We're following through. It went from that type time into, yeah, you could keep dropping as many records as you want. I'm done. Goodbye. See you later. You definitely burnt it the fuck out though. Like I'm over it. Like, you got 10 more records, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to rap this no more. Nigga gave up. Then he has this little monologue at the end where he's just so fucking defeated. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you was a real Drake, if Drake fans really felt like, this is how you know the win was decisive. Like, you remember in Tailor Made where Drake said, we need a no debated West Coast victory. This is how you know this was a no debated West Coast victory for Kendrick, because Drake has the last song in this beef. He dropped last, and the Drake fans are not doing what they did back when Tailor Made dropped, where there was like, yo, 3 days and Kendrick hasn't responded yet. 8 days, Kendrick hasn't responded yet. 9 days and 4 hours, and he has not responded yet. They was doing that. If they really felt like Drake won, they would be doing that with this. Yo, it's been a month and 4 weeks. That would be 2 months. It would have been a month and 3 weeks. Kendrick can't respond. Like, they have the last record in this beef, but they can't even stand on it, bro. So yeah, man. Drake issue, his issue is Family Matters was the nuke. Family Matters is supposed to be the end all be all, the song plus video. Then he dropped it, and then Kendrick was already ready. Then he dropped again, and Not Like Us came out a couple hours after, and it was over. Whoa, mustard on the beat. What the fuck? What? Mustard on the beat. Like, it just felt so random. Especially because the soul samples, like, they were doing this. Like, Kendrick had the soul sample on 616 in LA. Drake has the soul sample in the beginning on The Heart Part 6. And then there's a soul sample here. You hear the sample in the beginning, but then that mustard on the beat drop. Crazy. And then Kendrick just walk on it. He just walked this shit. Like, sometimes you gotta pop out and show. That's a classic. This is already a classic rap song. That's a classic bar. If you're tired of people talking about this beef, you might as well pick a different music genre. This is gonna be like how, like, don't people still talk about Jay-Z and Nas? You can have somebody talking about Jay-Z completely separate from Nas. The discussion is eventually going to devolve into a Jay-Z versus Nas debate. That's how it is. It's 20 plus years later. This is going to be the same way, right? So if you're tired of people talking about this, it only happened like less than 2 months ago. You might as well just you might as well pick a different music genre to listen to, because this is going to be one of those conversations that lasts in hip hop forever. This is actually my favorite part of the song right here. Other than All Eyes on Me, I'm gonna send it up to the pot. This is my other favorite. Because now he's going at the crew. He's just, taking little pot shots at the crew. Chubbs, get your hand-me-downs. Chubbs is, I think he's his security. Yeah, the girls you smash, yeah, you pass them to Chubbs. Chubbs, you smashing hand-me-downs. Party at the party playing with his nose. Yeah, party next door, he on dope. What's wrong with him? Baka got a weird case. Why is he? I think that's like Drake's shooter or something, or his security. Baka got a weird case though. Like, what's up with this nigga and that nigga? And it's like what's up with your crew, bro? Like, he's a weirdo type shit. And then the A minor bar, it was just I don't even think people recognize that. The reason why Kendrick said A minor and dragged it like he did,
A minor,
was because on Family Matters, Drake said that I think one of them kids might be Dave Freeze. And he drug it. So Kendrick was like, all right, cool. Again, Kendrick this whole time is just rebuttaling the shit out of Drake. Like, he's just 20v1 is 1v20. Yo, A minor, like, And then at the end of this song, like Drake, dumbass, just walks completely into this colonizer verse. We're gonna get to that. But Kendrick was rebuttaling the shit out of him. And then here's Kendrick continuing to be offended about the, you know, Tupac AI on Taylor Made. Like that really touched him the wrong way. Pause. Other vaginal options. See, this ain't even a bar like that. Like, what's OVO for other vaginal option pussy? Like this ain't even a bar like that. But he was flowing so good on the beat. It's just like, bruh, he could have said anything on this shit. Fucked on Wayne girl while he was in jail. That's conniving. Then got his face tatted like a apologizing. So we know like Wayne is one of Kendrick's favorite rappers, if not Kendrick's favorite rapper. There's videos of Kendrick online rapping Wayne verses, like cuts, not the famous shit, like cuts. The only real fans are rapping them word for word. There's video of that online.
Slow-mo, probably look nice on low pro Yokohamas with 20-inch chrome poking on them.
And a lot of people didn't know this. I mean, Wayne did an interview where he confirmed, like, yeah, Drake did that, but he tried to, you know, be player about it, like, oh yeah, whatever.
You say that he came in and told you that he had smashed one of your girls.
Oh, when he wrapped up. Oh, I wasn't worried about that. I mean,
yeah, that shit hurt, whatever. We got over it. But Kendrick's pointing out, like, yo, Wayne, my favorite rapper, what you did some weird shit, dog. Like, what? Then got his face tatted, like a woman would get, you know, a man's, or a man get a woman's face tatted on him. Why would you get another man's face? You know what I mean? I'm glad DeRozan came home. Then we ended up seeing DeRozan and Russell Westbrook at the Pop-Out show. From Alondra down to Central, these are streets in Compton. You better not speak on Serena Williams, who Drake, I think y'all was saying Drake was name dropping Serena Williams' husband. Because, you know, Drake and Serena, I guess they used to fool around or something. That's why Drake and Common had issues, if I'm not mistaken. It's always Drake doing something with females and that, you know, or dissing the female to get at the guy. I don't know what's up with that. But again, that goes back to Kendrick on Euphoria. I believe you don't like women. It may not necessarily mean that he's calling you gay. Like, I just believe you don't like women. You see him as competition or something, or some weird shit. This is the most hype part of the song. Lean on you niggas like another line of what?
Yeah, it's all eyes on me and I'ma send it up the pot.
All eyes on me and I'ma send it up the pot. To close it out, Drake dumbass just walks completely. On Family Matters, Drake goes,
Always rapping like you about to get the slaves freed.
yo, you rapping like you trying to get the slaves freed. And Drake is already cognizant of the angle that people are taking at him. Rick Ross had already dropped the verse calling him white boy and all this. Kendrick had already, you know, done Euphoria. We don't want to hear you say nigga no more. So he knows the angle they're taking. Why would you say some shit about you trying to get the slaves free? People are already calling you a colonizer. Drake set himself up perfectly for this verse. And it was just on Kendrick to execute it. And Kendrick executed it. Like, once upon a time, all of us in chains, but dude's just still calling us slaves. Like, what's wrong with dude? Like he's even though Drake is black, like Kendrick is like making a separation. Like, it's us, and then it's like, what's wrong with him? It's like that meme where he's pointing at dude and he's leaving him out the circle. The Settlers was using, in the way Kendrick said this, this is masterful lyricism. The difference between someone who writes their raps versus someone who really is not that involved in their raps. The Settlers was using town folk to make them richer. You got the same agenda. Damn, he called you a settler. You set yourself up, bro, by even mentioning the slave stuff. If Drake doesn't go, you always rapping like you trying to get slaves freed, this verse probably doesn't exist at all. Then he name drops everybody that Drake be dick riding off. Future, Lil Baby. I don't like calling him Lil. I just don't understand if you're a rapper and you call yourself Lil Baby, you know that most of your fan is men. You got a bunch of men calling you Lil Baby. Like, that's how you get at a girl, like, type shit. Like, yeah. 21 Savage, Young Thug, Quavo, 2 Chainz, names all these Atlanta's artists. Atlanta was the Mecca. Name drops a whole bunch of Atlanta artists. Now you run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars, like them settlers using the town folk. You're not a colleague, you're a colonizer. Punchline of the year. Punchline of the year. Because it's set up by an entire verse. The entire verse sets up this one line, and that line hits so damn hard when you hear it, because he sets it up like, yo, Comey called us slaves. Atlanta was the Mecca. Here's a couple Atlanta artists. You doing what the settlers did. Yo, you a colonizer. Boom. Brutal. Drake walked right into it. Like, you walking and you just run into, bro, you don't got to hit the wall. You can move out the way. It's not The Sims, bro. You don't got to walk into shit like that. Then obviously the call and response, OV ho, he a 69 guy, like all that. Yo, it was a brutal, brutal beating. And like I said, we went from Drake on tailor-made freestyle, boasting, gloating.
What the fuck is taking so long? We waiting on you.
Challenging Kendrick. You need to drop something. Don't make us wait a week. We went from that to this. I don't want to dish you anymore.
I don't want to dish you anymore.
You could drop 100 more records. I'm out of here.
You could drop 100 more records. I'll see you later.
Keep dropping. I'm not responding to shit. You definitely got this burnt out.
You definitely got this shit burnt the fuck out though. Like,
you got 10 more records to drop?
you got 10 more records to drop.
This is called waving the white flag. Don't make me beg you to stop. This is victory by submission. Yo, Jay-Z, and it's not like Drake's career isn't over or anything, you know what I mean? You always rapping like you're trying to get the freed. How dumb do you have to be to drop the bar when your cultural aptitude is already being in question? You should be leaning away from that. And because Drake said that, he walked into this entire verse. This verse would not exist if Drake doesn't say you rapping like you trying to get this freed. So Kendrick Lamar is looking real prophetic right now. He was spitting straight prophecy. His bars versus Drake have aged so well so far, especially with how everything has conspired with Drake after the beef with J. Cole. Like, this is making Kendrick Lamar look like a prophet. So I just want to look over his diss tracks and just go over some lyrics that I think have aged well so far. I know it's still relatively recent. We're about 5 months out. But man, this is aging really well so far. So let's start with Like That. Obviously, this is the verse that started it all. Obviously, Kendrick and Drake were sneak dissing each other before this, but this is what really took everything off. Not really any huge shots in this verse. I think the Prince Outlive Mike Jack bar is great because Kendrick was going back and forth with Drake with this.
Nigga, Prince outlived Mike Jack.
They were going back and forth with the Michael Jackson and Prince references. And I actually think Drake had the best Prince Mike Jack reference on Family Matters, where he said, maybe I'm Prince, but you actually Mike.
Michael was praying his features would change so people believe that he's actually white.
I actually think that's lyrically the best bars, just lyrically from this entire beef, in my opinion. Kendrick has some really lyrical stuff on 616 in LA, but that Drake, it's all in your face, like what happened to Mike, maybe I'm Prince, but you actually Mike, that was crazy. So I think that aged well. Obviously the big bar of this whole song, F the Big Three, is just Big Me.
Motherfuck the Big Three. Nigga, it's just Big Me.
That certainly seems to be the case. Kendrick has gotten a Super Bowl nod. He's going to perform at the halftime show since this beef. Kendrick has had the #1 record. He's had like 3 #1 records from this beef, if I'm not mistaken, right? Not Like Us. There was this record Like That. I think Euphoria was on its way to be #1. Kendrick dropped Not Like Us. So that kind of cannibalized Euphoria's. But I think Euphoria went as high as #3. While Drake, I think, had Family Matters is really the only one that charted in the top 10. And then obviously we saw what happened with J. Cole, who completely just bowed out of the beef. He doesn't believe, I don't know, J. Cole just doesn't seem to believe he's on the same level as Kendrick and Drake. He always talks about Kendrick and Drake as if they're superior to him, like he's chasing their greatness and all this. Cool. So yeah, it's just Kendrick at this point. I think he was right about that. And this is the most direct diss in this whole verse. Yeah, you got the Big Three part, but this is actually where Kendrick takes a shot at Drake. All your dogs getting buried.
For all your dogs getting buried. That's a K with all these nines. He gon' see Pet Cemetery.
Drake had an album called For All the Dogs. Kendrick rebuttals, all your dogs getting buried. It's a K with these 9. He gonna see Pet Cemetery. You know, just lyrical bars, you know, rap battle type bars. And it's funny because before we get to the next song, it's funny because the first person to respond to this verse was J. Cole on 7 Minute Drill. 7 Minute Drill dropped before Push-Ups, Tailor-Made Freestyle, Euphoria. 7 Minute Drill was the first official response of all this. And I don't really think Cole even got dissed in this verse. Obviously, Kendrick says F the Big Three, but the bars are really for Drake. All your dogs getting buried. Like, that's really who the direct diss is towards. So it's funny that J. Cole jumped out the porch first, and then he went back and apologized, and then doubled down on the apology on Port Antonio. that's neither here nor there. So anyways, the next track, Euphoria. So I think Euphoria is the most prophetic, especially this first part here, which when I first heard this song on my first reaction, I wasn't a huge fan of this part, the slower part of the song, the intro. I like this. I like when it picked up like around where he said, I hate when a rapper talk about guns.
And somebody died, they turn into none.
That's when the song got really good to me. But looking back, this is extremely prophetic in terms of the beef. Kendrick says, them superpowers getting neutralized. I can only watch in silence.
Them superpowers getting neutralized. I can only watch in silence.
And right now we're seeing Drake's superpowers get neutralized in real time. We're seeing Drake struggle to chart. He's charted, but he's had songs like Blue, Green, Red, like No Face, Housekeeping Knows featuring Lotto that he's released since this whole beef with Kendrick. They've charted. He's charted, but he's had trouble staying on the charts, which has never been something that Drake has had an issue with. He's always been able to get himself on the charts. He's been able to get others on the charts just by featuring on the record. So yeah, we are seeing a little bit of Drake's superpowers getting neutralized. And this wasn't the case before. Like Drake was coming off a huge tour. He was having great records, not great. He was having popular records with 21 Savage. Like he was doing his thing. So Kendrick kind of said this before it actually happened. The superpowers getting neutralized. The famous actor we once knew is looking paranoid and now spiraling. When you look at Drake's antics since the beef with Kendrick, 100 gigs joint, dropping all these different records, doing the joint with Chino Pacas, rapping in Spanish. And like just trying anything to try to catch some type of fire. Yeah, it can look like he's spiraling. We've never seen Drake like how he currently is. Now, do I think Drake is going to come out and have another hit record? Yeah, absolutely. And his next #1 record, he surpasses Michael Jackson for most #1 hits of all time. But again, them superpowers are looking neutralized a little bit, and it does look like Drake is spiraling a little bit, you know what I mean? Or a lot of it, some people would say. You're moving just like a degenerate.
Every antic is feeling distasteful.
Every antic is feeling distasteful. So, we've seen Drake in recent times, he's throwing a little bit of shots at J. Cole even. I think that's why J. Cole dropped the Port Antonio record. Because I think he knew Drake was probably not very happy with Cole dropping out of the beef so early. And like, if you're going to drop in, don't even step in the ring. Don't step in the ring if you're going to drop out. So we saw Drake doing some distasteful things, throwing shots at Cole, even seemingly throwing shots at Jay-Z for giving Kendrick the Super Bowl nod by posting that picture of Solange, that infamous Solange Jay-Z elevator incident. You're moving like a degenerate. Every antic is feeling distasteful. Just in these first 3 bars, look how much of this has come true. And it's still relevant. I calculate you're not as calculated.
Well, I calculate you're not as calculated. I can even predict your angle.
I can even predict your angle. Again, Kendrick says this before it happens. Like, you're not as calculated as you think you are, Drake. I can predict what you're about to do. And then what happened when Drake dropped his nuke, Family Matters? Boom. Meet the Grams was right there. Already ready.
Kendrick did not drop, bro. Not again, bro.
Then the next morning, Not Like Us, beef over. So it's like he predicted the end right here. You're not as calculated as you think. I can predict your angles. Watch this. Fabricating stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale.
Fabricating stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale.
Again, it's just so much in here. Kendrick says this because Drake mentions Whitney on Push-Ups.
I be with some bodyguards like Whitney.
But later in the beef, Drake mentions Kendrick's family again on The Heart Part 6, where he says, mother, I.
Mother, I, wait a second. That's that one record where you say you got...
Mother, I Sober is a record from Mr. Morale. So, fabricating stories. Kendrick said this before Drake even really leaned into it to do it. It's like he already knew what he was going to do. Like, he heard the records, which Kendrick, there's no way he could have heard The Heart Part 6 way back here. Because The Heart Part 6 was a direct response to the Not Like Us. It's like Drake debunking the PDF file allegations. But it's prophetic. He's like, I know what you're going to do. You're going to continue to fabricate stories because off of what I said on this Mr. Morale album. And that's exactly what Drake did. This whole little part, even though I wasn't feeling it at first, looking back at Euphoria, this is actually the most prophetic song of the entire beef. This part has aged so well. I hate when a rapper talk about guns and somebody die, they turn into nuns.
I hate when a rapper talk about guns, then somebody die, they turn into nuns.
I don't think Kendrick meant it this way, but I kind of look at this now that J. Cole has kind of dropped the Port Antonio apology to Drake and all this, I kind of look at J. Cole a little bit, you know, when I hear this bar. J. Cole is talking about how good he is. J. Cole's always competitive with Drake and Kendrick. I don't think he actually wanted to diss anyone straight up, but he was always competitive. So I take this as a metaphor at J. Cole, and I'm doing my little reach in here. Let me reach a little bit. I hate when a rapper talk about guns. I hate when a rapper talks about, like, I'm the best, like, these MCs don't want it with me. Then when somebody die, they turn into nuns. Okay, so now when I take Drake completely out, humiliate him, destroy him in a rap beef. Oh, now I don't want to. You turn into nuns. I don't want to do this no more. And he hop online like, yo, pray for my city, faking for likes and digital hugs. Like, yo, now you online copping please. 4 months ago, you was on this, yo, nobody can mess with me type. Then somebody got clipped. Now you don't want to do this no more. I know that's not what Kendrick was mentioning, but I'm just saying, like, after all this has transpired, this is kind of how I hear this bar. We ain't gotta get personal. This a friendly fade. You should keep it that way.
We ain't gotta get personal. This a friendly fade. You should keep it that way.
So it's interesting that Euphoria is such a aggressive diss record, but Kendrick was not. He was pulling punches in this song. Like, he kind of mentions Cole a little bit, but he doesn't really go all the way in on Cole like he could have, because Cole apologized prior to this record coming out. But you can see he's saying, yo, Cole and Aubrey know I'm selfish. I pray they my real friends. Like, he's still holding up the idea that, yo, we could still be cool. I pray they my real friends. If they're not, then cool. YNW Melly. Then he says there's 3 goats left. I seen 2 of them kissing and hugging on stage. So even though he's dissing them, y'all kissing and hugging on stage, he's calling them goats. Like, yo, they're my friends. Like, it's 3 goats left. We ain't got to get personal. It's a friendly fade. Like, he done mentioned like 3 times in like 8 bars. It's friendly. So this is where Drake messes up. This could have just been a straight up normal rap battle, like, you know, the kind that J. Cole wanted. Or maybe he didn't want it. J. Cole didn't want to get personal. And this is what Kendrick is saying. We ain't got to get personal. We can be friendly. Keep it that way. And Drake chose not to, and we saw what happened. Now, I bet if Drake hear this record again and he hears this part, he's probably like, man, I should have just took the friendly fade, man. I should have just took that friendly fade. I like Drake with the melodies.
He sound like Drake when he act tough.
I don't like Drake when he act tough. So now what is Drake about to do? What has been announced? Drake with the melodies, an album with Party Next Door. We about to get Drake with the melodies. Headshot for the year. You better walk around like Daft Punk. Yeah, this whole year, Drake, yo, I'm coming nonstop. Pause. It's not just going to end when this rap battle ends. You're going to continue to feel me for the rest of this year, which is what's happened. Number ones, like that. Number 1, not like us. Super Bowl announcement, pop-out show, and some more stuff still probably coming in the woodwork. This is headshots for the year. Put your helmet on like Daft Punk and just take it. Surprise, you wanted that feature request.
Surprise, you wanted that feature request. You know that we got some shit to address.
So this aged well because Kendrick and Drake were obviously privy to this, but the audience wasn't. But it's come out, allegedly, that Kendrick Lamar was supposed to be on First Person Shooter, right? That there's been rumors of that. Before we knew about what Kendrick was talking about here, he's addressing it. Now it sounds, with this knowledge, it's like, okay, we know exactly what he's talking about. I'm surprised he wanted me on First Person Shooter. You know we got something to address. When I see you stand by Sexy Red, I believe you see 2 bad.
When I see you stand by Sexy Red, I believe you see 2 bad bitches.
And then what did Drake do in the midst of this beef? He drops on June 25th, 2024. So this is pretty much after everything is spilt over. The beef is pretty much over. Not Like Us is already out. The Heart Part 6. Drake already quit. What does Drake do? Kendrick throws a shot at him. Like, yo, I see you stand by Sexy Red. I believe you see 2 bad bees. What is Drake going to do after this record? He goes and does a record with Sexy Red. I believe you don't like women. It's real competition. You might pop ass with them.
I believe you don't like women. It's real competition. You might pop ass with them.
Now, we've seen those pictures that come out of Drake recently where it's looking a little sus. Kendrick, like, I'm not saying you're gay, but bisexual perhaps? Like, you competing with women, like you on some different timing. I actually don't think this bar right here, back to back, I like that record. I'm gonna get back to that for the record.
Back to back, I like that record. I'm gonna get back to that for the record.
I actually don't think this bar had a chance. The beef didn't go on long enough for Kendrick to expound on that. But Kendrick it's like forewarning. Like, yo, that back-to-back joint, your last diss record that you did, you know, that you were successful with, I like that. That was good. But I'm going to get back to that. But when I first heard this, when I did my reaction, when I heard this, I was like, well, Kendrick is about to drop another record very soon. He's about to go back-to-back on Drake. Like how Drake went back-to-back on Meek Mill. He dropped the Charged Up record and then dropped back-to-back. That's why it's called back-to-back. He dropped 2 records in a row. When I heard this, I was like, oh, Kendrick is saying he's about to go back-to-back on Drake. Right after this record, he's going to drop another one, which he did. I actually think Kendrick wanted to expose something about Drake's record back-to-back. I think, I have no proof of this, but I think he was going to expose that perhaps maybe Daylight wrote on that record, but I don't know for sure. I think this bar right here, bring him out too, I'll clean him out too, tell Beam he better stay right with you. I think this will age even better if the audience begins to know who Beam actually is. Beam is a songwriter and producer. So if like a reference track with Beam comes out, or, you know, Beam exposes something, people are going to hear this bar differently too. It's going to age even better. Like, oh, Beam, oh, on Euphoria, Kendrick said, oh, lights are going to start going off. People are going to start understanding. I think this Run to America bar will also age well, because I just think on this upcoming album, I felt like this for a couple months. I think Kendrick is going to be like on his pro-America. I think there's going to be like a pro-America, not the whole album theme, but there's going to be at least a few messages on the album that's pro-country, pro-America. I don't know why I feel this way. Well, that's the stage I'm in. If you've seen my other videos, like, you'll know that when Kendrick drops an album, me and him are usually in like the same, similar spot mentally. When Kendrick dropped the To Pimp a Butterfly, I was already on my getting into my pro-black type-ish. Even Good Kid, Mad City, Section 80, like all those, it was like he's speaking directly to how I feel. And even on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, where Kendrick is talking about fake activism and I'm not your savior, I was like in that same mode. So now I'm in my pro-America. I think Kendrick might have a little bit of that on this album. And then when Kendrick did the Super Bowl announcement, what was behind him? A huge American flag. So, I mean, I think I might be right. But yeah, this is just complete speculation. I have no proof of this. But if Kendrick does have some pro-America messaging on the album, this little divide, this America-Canada divide, tell them Run to America, they can't imitate us, it's going to hit that much harder. And here, this last bar.
If you take it there, I'm taking it further. That's something you don't want to do.
If you take it there, I'm taking it further. Something you don't want to do. And Kendrick took it further on the Meet the Grams, then he took it further on the Not Like Us. So I actually think Meet the Grams is way more incriminating than Not Like Us. Not Like Us is just a banger, but Meet the Gram was way more vicious. But yeah, again, if you take it there, Kendrick is warning him this whole record. Yo, this is a friendly fade. Yo, y'all are goats too, but y'all kissing and hugging on stage. Ha, little playful jabs. You know what I mean? I pray they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Millie. I'm telling y'all, if yo, it's a friendly fade, keep it that way. If you take it there, I'm gonna go there too. Now, hearing this now after what happened, you're just like, that boy did take it further. He took it way further. All right, so 616 in LA. There's really just one bar I want to point out here. Somebody's lying. I can see the vibes on Ack. DJ Academics is Ack. Even he's looking compromised. Let's peel the layers back.
And I can see the vibes on Ack. Even he looking compromised. Let's peel the layers back.
Now at this time, we know Academics is pro Drake. And I think that's perfectly fine. I think most of us watching this video were pro Kendrick prior to the beef and we're rooting for Kendrick. There's no issue with rooting for your guy, right? I think today, this bar, like he's looking compromised, is hitting even harder because even DJ Academics' own audience is saying he's going a bit far. If my thing is, if Academics, you want to root for Drake, you want to, highlight what Drake's doing, spotlight him, that's your guy, that's your favorite artist, he's been your favorite artist for a decade plus now, cool. If even you want to side with Drake in the beef and you want to downplay Kendrick's records and you want to hype up Drake's, cool. But I think now what Academics is doing, which I think I know you guys might not agree with me on this, but Academics usually has great takes regardless of his bias. He can be biased towards you, but then he could give a great take, like Lil Baby. Like, I don't think Academics really And I'm gonna stop calling this dude Lil Baby because I just don't know why a rapper would name himself Lil Baby when most of your fans are men. Now you got a whole bunch of men walking around calling you Lil Baby like a woman. When I don't think DJ Academics likes Dominique Jones like that. But when Dominique Jones drops a new record, Academics will critique it. You can tell he doesn't like him, but then he'll give real good follow-up. Like it's not, regardless of his bias, he usually can deliver very fair takes, very fair points. Right now, I think even his own fans, Academics' own fans are saying, it's not that Academics just doesn't like what Kendrick did to Drake and he's just pissed, even though he knows Kendrick won him, but he's just pissed and he's like, fuck Kendrick, whatever. Academics is taking it a step further and he's creating narratives now in his videos about Kendrick and about the Drake and Kendrick beef. It's like he's creating false narratives that even his own audience is like, we're Drake fans too, but stop. Even he's looking compromised. Let's peel the layers back. I think out of 616, this is the bar that stands out to me that's aged the best. And again, here's another Michael Jackson bar. Maybe I'm Prince, you actually Mike. Yo, they were doing this the whole time. I love that part of the beef. That's the real lyricism part, just the rebuttals with that. I really enjoyed that part. Now, Meet the Grams, I think this is actually a very vicious diss record. I think in terms of just pure disses, this is the best one in the whole beef. But it's also the most overlooked. I think this one and 616 in LA are the most overlooked. I think the reason why this record is overlooked, and it has the potential to age really well. You got 4 verses, but it's this third verse about an alleged daughter that Drake has. Now, I know people have been on social media putting up random kids, which is, I think is a little weird, that they believe to be Drake's daughter. I mean, it is weird, you know, just be posting these random kids. Drake has vehemently denied that he has a daughter that no one knows about. If this verse comes out to be true, this entire song is going to age the best out of anything in this rap beef. It's going to go from like the most overlooked song in the beef to the most infamous, if this gets proven correctly. Here's another bar. Cat Williams said, get you the truth, so I'm going to get mines. The embassy is about to get raided too. It's only a matter of time.
The embassy about to get raided too. It's only a matter of time.
So the embassy is what Drake calls his house. It's, you know, what the cover of Not Like Us. It's the embassy. He says the embassy is going to get raided too. Like kind of like Diddy's residence got raided. He says only a matter of time. But if this comes out to be true, that's why I say this record, Meet the Grams, it has the potential to be the most well-aged song out of all this beef. It has the potential to either age like wine or like milk. If it comes out like, yeah, Drake never had a daughter, this whole verse would spoil the song. And I think that's kind of what's happening now. I think this record doesn't really get the credit it deserves because everything Kendrick is talking about here in verse 3, it's up in the air. We don't know it to be true or not. So it kind of spoils everything else he's saying. Even this 4th verse, which I think is the best diss in the entire rap beef. This whole fourth verse is heavy. But the 3rd verse about the daughter, because there's question about that, it kind of puts question on the rest of the diss, which it shouldn't, but it does. But I think this entire song has the opportunity to age the best. And feel free to play this in the future if any of this gets proven correct, the daughter or the embassy getting raided. Yo, if either of those come true, yo, people are going to return to this record in awe and respect. This is, okay, so Not Like Us, this is obviously everyone's favorite. Here's the embassy again in the cover art. So this bar right here, especially after J. Cole's Port Antonio record.
They cold foul. I don't know why you still pretending.
Like I said, you just hear it differently. Because none of us knew what Kendrick really was talking about right here. There's something that happened behind the scenes. Did Cole foul? I don't know why you still pretending. Did Cole foul? How? Now, today, we probably have more insight on what was going on. But at the time, like, the whole J. Cole Port Antonio song kind of sounds like an apology. Like, the way J. Cole approaches that song, even the title, it's called Port Antonio, and the cover art is a picture of J. Cole and Drake in Port Antonio. It's kind of like J. Cole is trying to make amends, like trying to like heal relationship between him and Drake, which why does it need healing? It reveals that something went awry between Drake and J. Cole. Otherwise, why is Port Antonio is essentially an apology record to Drake. Like he already apologized to Kendrick, you know, way early in the beef, but now he's apologizing to Drake. But why? There's something that happened between here. Now we can, as time goes on, I think we're going to understand this bar a lot better than we do right now. Did Cole foul? I don't know why you still pretending. Effed on Wayne girl while he was in jail. That's conniving to get his face tatted like a
Apologizing.
apologizing. We don't really know Drake and Wayne's relationship. Wayne seems to be fine with him. I mean, he showed up. He was rapping a remix to Not Like Us, but he was saying, yo, they don't like us. They don't like us. I thought that was fire, actually. I thought if Drake would have, after this record, Not Like Us dropped, if Drake would have just did a remix to this record and used Wayne's hook, they don't like us, they don't, and really spat some fire verses, I don't think he would have suffered as humiliating a defeat. Like if he would have just remixed this instead of dropping a Heart Part 6, which is basically, Heart Part 6 is basically Drake quitting. White flag, right? This third verse here, right? This entire verse and the punchline, the whole verse is a lead up to the punchline. You're not a colleague, you're a colonizer.
No, you're not a colleague, you're a fucking colonizer.
Which was basically Kendrick's entire theme throughout this rap beef. Like, you're not one of us, you're not even yourself, you don't even like yourself, you're using people, that's why your own team doesn't like you. This is him on 616 in LA. Kendrick was basically saying this line, you're not a colleague, you're a colonizer, like you're not one of us, like you're just using us. He was alluding to it pretty much the entire beef, but he just never came outwardly and said it until right here and just put it in plain English language. This punchline encapsulates this whole verse. The entire verse, usually a punchline it's set up by like 1 or 2 bars before it. This punchline is set up by this entire verse. This verse does not exist if on Family Matters, Drake doesn't say,
Always rapping like you about to get the slaves freed.
you always rapping like you're trying to get the slaves freed. How dumb do you have to be to drop the bar, you always rapping like you're trying to get the slaves freed, when your cultural aptitude is already being in question? Rick Ross on the Champagne Dreams diss track, which happened like at the very beginning of this whole beef, Rick Ross is calling into question, calling you white boy, saying you got plastic surgery, saying you wish you this black. This is someone who knows Drake. Like, they spent time together, many songs together. He's already calling into question your cultural credentials. You should be leaning away from that. To go on Family Matters and then say you're rapping like you're trying to get the slaves freed, that logically puts the slaves here and you here. You're on the opposite side of everyone else. Like, and because Drake said that, he walked into this entire verse. This verse would not exist, and this super damaging punchline would not exist if Drake doesn't say you rapping like you trying to get the slaves freed. Maybe Not Like Us is just 2 verses, or maybe it's a 3rd verse, but the 3rd verse is about something totally different. He walked right into this verse by saying that. Yo, you gotta read the room. I don't know if Drake wrote that, or if one of his writers wrote the slaves free bar, but you gotta read the room. You're already being painted as a colonizer. So to say you rapping like you trying to get the slaves freed, this is probably the easiest verse Kendrick has ever written in his life. Like Drake set himself up for this entire verse. Then what happened? What's happening right now? Young Thug sends out a tweet like, yo, me, Future, Metro, we all need to start working together again. So what is Drake doing? He's running back to Atlanta. Thug is from Atlanta, Future from Atlanta, Metro from Atlanta. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. You call Future when you didn't see the club. Dominique Jones helped you get your lingo up. Drake wants to preserve his relationship with Future, even though this entire thing popped off because of a Future song where he let Kendrick Lamar get on a song and talk crazy. Drake does not want any issues with Future. That's all. Everybody caught strays. The Weeknd, Rick Ross, A$AP Rocky, Kendrick, Cole. Everybody caught strays except the nigga that was on a song and that let you get dissed like that. Except the nigga who was rapping on 2 straight albums that's full of disses to you, which is Future. Everybody caught strays except Future. Because Drake wants to preserve that. Why? You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. So this is aging, bruh. If we see Drake back on a song with Thug, he already dropped the No Face record, which did all right. It just couldn't stick to the chart for some reason. If we see Drake back with Atlanta artists, and he actually charts, like, okay, Drake, he finally got a record that stayed on the chart, and it's Drake featuring Future or Thug or Metro. This whole verse is already aging well, but it's gonna age that much better. So yeah, man. Yo, Kendrick Lamar's looking real prophetic right now. Yo, I do think Drake had some good bars versus Kendrick, I gotta admit. Obviously not many because he lost, but so this is obviously gonna be a short video. But yo, I really try to be unbiased though. So I'm gonna just skip to the bars that I liked. The first song in this diss battle, this beef, I actually did like this song. I thought Push Ups was a good song. I thought it was a good angle, mentioning Top Dog, Top Set, Drop and Give Me 50. We know, or some of you guys don't know, that there's something going on in TDE that we don't really know about, or something that went on. I think, this is my opinion, I've done a video on it, but Drake kind of jabs at that, and I thought this was a good angle. Right here, you won't never take no chain off of us.
How the fuck you big stepping with a size 7 men's on?
How you big stepping with a size 7 men's on? So obviously this is like a playground, elementary school jab, but it's effective. We know Drake is a tall dude. Drake is like 6'3", and we know Kendrick is very short. He's a short guy, right? So how you big stepping, like Mr. Morale, the Big Steppers, Kendrick's album, with a size 7 men's? Like, come on. Like, someone in D12 said this. I think it was Bizarre from D12. He said the best disses in diss records, the best ones are just pointing out the obvious. If you dissing a dude who's huge and fat and sloppy, yo, call him fat and sloppy, bro. Like, point out the obvious. These are sometimes the most effective disses. Right here, you better do that motherfucking show inside the
Biddy.
Biddy. I don't know why Drake said Biddy. Like, he should have said City. I don't know if he's trying to be like a blood or something right here. Maroon 5 need a verse. You better make it witty. Then we need a verse for the Swifties. I like that. I like how he delivered that.
Then we need a verse for the Swifties.
Dog said, drive, you better drop and give me 50. I really like this part, yo. Just the way he delivered it, yo. Then we need a verse for the Swifties. Even though this is kind of aged poorly, because immediately after the beef with Kendrick, Drake goes and drops a song with Camila Cabello. I mean, he's trying to critique Kendrick here for doing songs with pop stars. And then here goes Drake doing songs with pop stars. No big threes. See, this is a bar I didn't understand. I want to focus only on Drake's good bars, but this is one I didn't understand. You not in big threes. SZA got you wiped down. Travis, 21 Savage. So are you saying SZA, Travis, and 21 Savage are your big 3 rappers? Like, SZA's not even a rapper. Right here, like your label, you Interscope right now. Interscope, Interscope. Kendrick is signed to Interscope. You don't have to look at the genius annotations to figure this out. And you're gonna feel the aftermath of what I write down. Kendrick, Dr. Dre's label is called Aftermath Records, which is a subsidiary of Interscope. Some wordplay. This is hip hop, bro. Big difference between Mike then and Mike now.
Big difference between Mike then and Mike now.
The fuck is this, a 20v1? I really liked this 20v1 bar until Kendrick rebutted it.
Ain't 20v1, it's 1v20 if I gotta smack niggas that right with you.
On Euphoria. I thought it was a good bar, like, cause it was Drake versus all of his opponents, Future, Metro, The Weeknd, Kendrick, Rick Ross. And I like this bar here. It's a big difference between Mike then and Mike now. So this is Drake responding to Kendrick on Like That. You see Kendrick said, yo, Prince outlived Mike Jack.
Nigga, Prince outlived Mike Jack, nigga, boom!
Kendrick is essentially calling himself Prince, like the creative genius. He's calling Drake Michael Jackson, who's, you know, had songs written for him, performer, not so much a great musician as he was a performer and an entertainer. And Kendrick is telling him, by the way, Prince outlived him. So my work is going to outlive and outdo yours over time. And this is Kendrick responding. So Kendrick and Drake were doing this thing with this Prince and Michael Jackson line the entire beef. Like this Prince and Michael Jackson reference. And I said this in another video. This is what the beef could have been if Drake didn't make it all messy by mentioning dudes, baby mamas and stuff. It could have just been this display of lyricism. Who can out-reference each other, out-wordplay each other. So this is Kendrick responding to Drake on First Person Shooter.
Bro, I'm 1 away from Michael, nigga, beat it.
Where Drake says, yo, I'm 1 away from Michael. I think he's 1 away for like #1 hits or something like that. I'm 1 away from Michael. And then Kendrick was like, yo, by the way, Prince outlived Mike Jack. By the way, I'm Prince. You might be Mike, but yo, we all know I'm better. And they will keep going with this. They'll keep going with this. On Family Matters, Drake says,
it's all on your face like what happened to Mike.
I'll get into that one later because that's also probably my favorite bar from this entire diss. Obviously, we all love the Metro, shut your whole ass up.
Metro, shut your whole ass up and make some drums, nigga.
And even though this is the bar that took this way further than what it needed to be,
I be with some bodyguards like Whitney.
And I'm really not a fan when Drake mentions dudes' wives. This is a great bar. I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney Houston. She was in a movie called The Bodyguard, right? Yeah. And then Kendrick's wife's name is Whitney. Like, even though it's a low blow and it didn't need to be that way, this is a hard bar. And I like this what Top said, drop your little
Midget ass, better fucking.
midget ass. Like, point out the obvious again. Better fucking drop. So the next song in this beef would be Taylor Made Freestyle, which, you know, I'm from LA. You see me rapping. Hold on. You see me rapping? You see me rap? I'm from LA. I didn't take offense to the AI on this song like a lot of people did, especially Kendrick took huge offense to this. I thought it was a funny song. And to me, it's super funny because you got you got Tupac AI and Snoop AI. This is obviously Drake rapping these verses. You can obviously tell that it's Drake. Just the flow and the cadence and like the way it's just the way Drake structures his rhyme scheme. Not in your shoes, go do what you do, not really you, pass it to Snoop. Out of clue, what the fuck you about to do? This is how Drake wrote this song. There's only 2 records in this beef that I think Drake penned completely, or at least 90%. It's this one, Taylor Made Freestyle, and it's the Heart Part 6. Those have like trademarks of Drake style on them. The rest of them don't. The spirit of Machiavelli is look, they told me the spirit of Tupac is alive.
And a nigga under 5'5", so it's gotta be you.
And a nigga under 5'5", so it's gotta be you. I mean, I thought that was funny. And this bar right here, the Snoop AI, it just speaks to how Drake thought this was gonna go. So this is like before Euphoria dropped. Right now, it seemed like you posted up without a clue.
Of what the fuck you about to do?
Of what the fuck you about to do. Like, you just letting me punch on you, you not blocking it, you not defending yourself. Well, are you out of moves? Look, what the fuck is taking so long? We waiting on you. He tried to do Kendrick like he did Meek Mill on back to back.
I waited 4 days, nigga, where y'all at?
I waited 4 days, nigga, where y'all at? Didn't go down like that, though. You try and let this shit die down, nah, not this time, nigga. Nah, nigga, you following through. Yo, this was hitting. You can go watch my Taylor Made reaction. At the time, this was hitting because, you know, Kendrick don't drop records. And I'm all for dude dissing Kendrick for not dropping records. I was with it when J. Cole did it on 7 Minute Drill.
He averaging 1 hard burst like every 30 months or something.
I was with it when Drake did it here. I was like, yes, Kendrick, as someone who's been a supporter of Kendrick Lamar since 2009, yes, it's unacceptable. I've done a whole reaction on the Family Matters song. You can go watch this video if you want to see this and how stupid of a song this is. Actually, it's a good song, but how bad the disses actually are once you put a little bit of scrutiny on it. Where's your uncle at? I want to talk to the man of the house.
Where's your uncle at? Cause I wanna talk to the man of the house.
So if you heard the Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers album, you know Kendrick got a song on there called, you know, like My Auntie Is a Man Now.
My auntie is a man now.
Because I guess his auntie is transsexual or something. This is just foul. Yo, where's your uncle at? I want to talk to the man of the house. West Coast niggas do fades, right? Go get this ass open. I'm handing them out. Hey y'all, I am a one-man show. I record, edit the video myself, create the thumbnail, everything. So hitting like and subscribe does help a bunch. Thanks so much. Back to the video. Right here. This is nasty right here. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Obviously Kendrick, I'm saying obviously, some people might not know this. Kendrick Lamar has a song called The Blacker the Berry, where he, in the hook, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. It's on To Pimp a Butterfly album. He says, we got it. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
We get it, you like to put gin in your juice. We get it, you think that you bishop in juice.
We get it, you like to put gin in your juice. Like, we get that you're from the West Coast. Stop reminding us. We get that you think you bishop in juice. Who played the character Bishop in Juice? It was Tupac. He played a character named Bishop. And we all know how enthralled Kendrick is with Tupac. So this is kind of Drake taking jabs at that. This is a 6 set of bars. We got it, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. We get that you like to put gin in your juice.
We get it, you think that you bishop in juice.
We like to think that you bishop in juice. Like, this is all right here. When you put your hands on your girl, is it self-defense because she bigger than you?
Is it self-defense because she bigger than you?
Oh, man. And this is what I was talking about earlier with the Michael Jackson references that they kept going back and forth with. This is also one of the hardest. Along with the Bishop and Juice bar, this is bars right here. It's all on your face like what happened to Mike, like the surgery. Oh shit, it's all making sense. Maybe I'm Prince and you actually Mike.
Maybe I'm Prince and you actually Mike.
Because, you know, Kendrick was calling himself Prince and Drake Michael Jackson and saying like, y'all, our music is gonna outlive yours. I'm a better creative genius. Drake was like, okay, whatever. But he was like, hold on. Maybe I'm Prince though, and you're actually Mike. Because Michael was praying his features would change so people would think that he's actually white.
Michael was praying his features would change so people believe that he's actually white.
How did Michael Jackson just catch it straight right now? It's crazy. R.I.P. Mike. I don't know if Michael Jackson was praying his features would change so people would believe he's white, but I think Drake is just referring to the nose job and the other surgeries. Michael was praying his features would change so people would believe he's actually white. Top. Remember we talked about Top Dog earlier. Top will go make you do features for chains, get on pop records, and rap for the whites. The rhyme scheme. Mike praying his features would change. Top make you do features for change. Like, whoever wrote this, if it's Drake, this is elite lyricism. This is why I be wanting to know who the writers are, because I want to go, the nigga who wrote this, I want to go listen to more of his music. Like, what the hell he be talking about? And this right here is just this is a cherry on top. And wait,
you say your brother Jermaine, but you wanted him to stay out of the light.
You say your brother Jermaine, but you wanted him to stay out of the light. You talking about J. Cole. J. Cole's name is Jermaine. But wait, Michael Jackson also got a brother named Jermaine Jackson who was not in as in the spotlight as he was. So he's saying, you told Cole to go back out the beef. What, you didn't want him to get some #1 records like you got? You didn't want him to get his streams up? Like, obviously, I don't think that's the reason that J. Cole backed out, but it's about painting a narrative. It's about framing things in a certain light. And this is bars right here, bro. This is bars. And then lastly, The Heart Part 6. Now, there are not many great bars on this. This is just a defeated, I quit ass record. Kendrick Lamar this is like someone in my comments said this is like the WWF, WWE I quit match. I said yes. Kendrick Lamar was The Rock with the steel chair. Drake was Mankind, screaming, I quit, I quit, I quit.
I quit! I quit! What? I quit!
The part of this I do like though is here. And whether or not it's true, I'm not really concerned about in this reaction. I am just looking at the quality. So these bars right here is the big reveal where Drake was like, yo, we fed you the information.
We plotted for a week and then we fed you the information.
About the daughter and the items that you had in the album cover to meet the grams. We plotted for a week, we fed you the information. A daughter that's 11 years old, yo, I bet he takes it.
A daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it.
We thought about giving a fake name a destination, but you so thirsty, you not concerned with investigation. Boy, you thirsty. You gotta learn to fact check things and be less impatient.
You gotta learn to fact check things and be less impatient.
And then just a menacing beat, like on this song. So you gotta think, this is after Not Like Us. Kendrick went with Not Like Us. He went back to his regional sound, the West Coast sound. And I don't think people realize that Drake also went back to his regional sound on this Heart Part 6 record. This is the menacing, slow, almost cold feeling, screw face type Toronto record that Drake made popular. It just don't hit like Not Like Us. It hits in a different way. But as a response to Not Like Us, it's not really the production that's the issue, it's Drake on here. But I think the menacing type beat and just how cold, like I've been to Toronto. It's like cold, 11 p.m., 1 a.m., just a few street lights on. That's what this beat is. Drake did go regional on this beat, and on those bars particular, gotta be less impatient. He matches the production. He's menacing. He sounds like conniving. Like they call Toronto the screw face capital of the world. And these bars, this envelops that. It envelops it. And even this part right here, even though it's a complete flop by Drake because he just completely misunderstood Kendrick Lamar's Mother I Sober record, it does its job of sounding menacing, super disrespectful, super cold.
This about to get so depressing. This is trauma from your own confession.
Wait, that's that one record that you say you got molested. I just made the whole connection.
Oh, fuck me, I just made the whole connection.
And even here, you mentioned an A minor, but niggas got a B sharp and tell fans who was it. I thought that was a good rebuttal.
A minor, but niggas got a B sharp and tell the fans who was it.
You thought you left D flat, D major? Like, this is bars, bro.
You thought you left D flat, D major.
This is bars, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a lot of shit that don't hit, like the Epstein angle is what I expected, and trying to make fun of a dude for being, molested as a child. We're not gonna say the whole word. And even this, I don't want to fight with a woman beater. It feeds your nature. So it's like, Drake, what are you doing? You calling yourself a woman? Like think about this shit before you record it. But I'm saying all that to say there are a lot of these bars don't hit at all, but those are the sections of the Heart Part 6 that I thought were actually effective. I thought they were bars. So anyways, yeah, I told you I was gonna be a short video. You know, I try to be unbiased. I'm not gonna listen to some shit that's bumping and act like it's not bumping. I like the push-ups joint. I like the tailor-made joint. I wouldn't say I like Family Matters, but I recognize why people like it. I just don't think the disses to anyone on that record are strong. Go watch my video if you haven't seen it already. I'll break it down completely. But he has some bars on there, and even on Heart Part 6, he had some parts. When I first listened to it, I was like, okay. You got the lawyer breakdown of Not Like Us. Within the first minute, Not Like Us identifies Drake by his name and states that Lamar has heard Drake has a predilection for underage women. Say Drake. I hear you like them young. The next line is a thinly veiled threat that Drake should be careful that he never ends up in prison in a place where child preds are notoriously the targets of violence. Didn't I ever go to cell block 1? See, what Kendrick said on this record is actually a little too vague to even add all this. Now, we all know what Kendrick was saying. Yeah, you better not ever go to cell block 1 because you're in PC, you get treated crazy if you're a pred. Kendrick didn't actually say all that. We know what he meant, but what he said was, you better not ever go to cell block 1. So it's not enough there. It's not enough there. The recording continues to say that any woman who falls in love with Drake should hide their little sister from him. That is what the song says. Next, in a perverse reference to Drake's 2021 album, Certified Lover Boy, Certified Pred. And a play on the dual meaning of minor, a person under the age of 18, a music scale. Oh, this is bars right here. Recording says that Drake is trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. Later in the recording, Lamar describes Drake as Malibu's most wanted. Why did they even put that here? Yeah, he said that, but why did they point that out? Yeah, why did they point that out? Not Like Us continues to say that Drake and the people in his circle need to be served with a subpoena. Yeah, I'm glad they highlighted the people in his circle because even the certified PDF and the predator moving flocks, all that, someone could just say that's about Baca and not Drake because a predator moves in flocks and asserts that Drake's name gonna be registered and placed on Neighborhood Watch. Again, could be applied to Chubbs, could be applied to Baca. It wasn't explicitly directed at Drake in the song lyrically. I mean, we obviously know what the song is saying, but if you go to court and someone reads these lyrics, they're going on a critical analysis. They're going to be like, "Yo, this could be directed at anybody," you know, that he's mentioned because Kendrick mentioned multiple people on Not Like Us. Not Like Us also repeatedly suggests that violence should be used against Drake because he is a Pete. I would like to see this part because I don't remember this part in the song. Like the sound of someone being beaten up, the recording repeats wop, wop, wops, and then says Lamar will F him up. Okay. Yeah, that's not what that means. Wop, wop, wop. See, I never knew that. I never knew. What? That fucking mud. I never knew that was about someone getting beat up. I thought that was Kendrick just being silly. And then says Kendrick will F him up. I didn't know that was Kendrick inciting violence. I thought he was basically doing a wipe me down. Hey, I'm a fuck him up. Hey, fuck him up. But you know, the lawyers know hip hop better than we do, right? This is why I say I don't think this lawsuit is going to go anywhere because it's such a stretch. Even the lyric breakdown is a stretch, but to prove what they're trying to prove, defamation against UMG, that's, I don't know. They both have great lawyers on each side, but I'm no lawyer, so I'll let the lawyers break that down. Later, the recording threatens that if Drake comes to Oakland, where Lamar grew up in Oakland? What are we talking about? If Drake comes to Oakland where Lamar grew up, he will not make it out alive. I think that Oakland show gonna be a last stop. Y'all been listening to Kendrick for years. I ain't been listening hard enough. I thought Kendrick grew up in Compton. But Kendrick actually grew up in Oakland, according to the lawsuit. Hey, yo, I need to stop doing album reactions on this channel because obviously I'm not getting this. I didn't pick that up. I've been listening to Kendrick 15 years. I never realized he grew up in Oakland. And yeah, I think that Oakland show gonna be your last stop. That has nothing to do with the whole PDF allegations. If you notice, everything up here it's to prove that what Kendrick is saying is like is calling Drake a PDF. I don't know why they put the Oakland show thing in there because That was more about disrespecting the West Coast, disrespecting the Bay Area by doing the whole tailor-made Tupac AI freestyle. Recording makes it clear that justice will be served not through the legal system and or commentary on social media. And their evidence by that is when Kendrick said, fuck a caption, no accident. Just the fucking caption part. By saying that, Kendrick is saying that justice will be served not through the legal system. No, Kendrick said that because Drake was trolling. He was on IG the whole time, the whole beat, trolling. But through physical violence, won't action, no accident, I'm hands on. Okay, I can see that, yeah. He fucking around and get polished, yeah. They got a point right there. At the end of the recording, the lyrics threatening, repeat, hey, run for your life. Yeah, that's true. The recording contains numerous additional statements that imply the existence of evidence to support the allegations against Drake. Not like us threatens that Lamar could reveal more secrets about Drake. Rabbit hole is deep. I can go further. That's true. And that the public will believe him. The audience is not dumb. The recording continues making reference to several Drake songs, Family Matters and God's Plan, and accusing Drake of being a liar for denying allegations of criminality. It accuses of Drake being liar for denying allegations of criminality. I think since the beginning, Kendrick was calling Drake a liar and a manipulator, even on Euphoria, like how the song starts. I don't think that was Kendrick saying, oh, you're lying about not being a PDF. He was just calling Drake a liar and a manipulator in general. Further, the Not Like Us refrain, so that's just some music stuff, suggests that Drake is not like us. The recording alludes to Drake's Jewish heritage, saying that Drake is not a colleague, but a colonizer. So they saying Not Like Us is anti-Semitic. The song in question is Not Like Us. Written and performed by Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, the recording was intended to convey the specific, unmistakable, and false allegation that Drake is a criminal PDF to suggest that the public should resort to vigilante justice in response. Where is this part? Where is this part not like us? The public should resort. See, I'm getting tired of Drake, man. I could make a certain joke right now, but I'm not going to do that. The public should resort, or it was a joke about the lawsuits, but we're not even going there. The public should resort to vigilante justice in response. I don't remember that part. And Not Like Us, the only part that symbolizes something like that is when Kendrick said, you really think the Bay gonna let you disrespect Pac? I think that Oakland show might be your last stop. Like, that's the only part that can be misconstrued to sound like that. The recording is defamatory. Remember, in order to be defamatory, it has to be provable that the person who said the defaming things knew it was false. Its lyrics, its album image, and its music video all advance the false and malicious narrative that Drake is a PDF. I don't know if does the music video reference that Drake is a PDF? I actually thought the Not Like Us music video, I really wasn't a huge fan of it, but I don't think there's anything to suggest that Drake is a PDF in that video. I know some people are going to be like, oh, well, Kendrick and DeMar DeRozan were dancing in front of shipping crates and human trafficking, they use shipping crates. Okay, if you want to do that whole reach thing, cool. The lyrics repeatedly accuse Drake of engaging in criminal acts, including calling him a certified PDF and a predator who needs to be placed on neighborhood watch. Now, again, I can misconstrue this to say Kendrick was talking about Baca. Yo, Baca got a weird case. Why is he around? You could even say the certified PDF is about Baca. Baca's got the sexual case history, whatever that was. You can go research it to get more accurate information. I'm not Channel 9 News. But Baca has that case. And then the immediate bar after is certified lover boys. Like your team, certified lover boy. Certified. He said your homeboy needs subpoenas. That predator move in flocks. We don't know if this is about Drake or about Baca. His name should be registered, placed on neighborhood watch. This is what they're talking about. The image was designed to reinforce, and in fact reinforces the accusation that by depicting Drake's actual Toronto house cover in the icons that are known to be used by law enforcement to identify child sex offenders' residence online. I mean, I agree with that part. That's pretty darn clear. Video bolsters the same message by, for example, showing images associated with sex trafficking and juxtaposing the game of hopscotch. See, I can't get with this because this can be taken anyway. Accusing Drake of trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. Okay. This lawsuit is not about the artist who created Not Like Us. Well, it is because you're using his accusations. So it is about, it's not directed towards him. You're not suing Kendrick, but it is about him. It's about his song. It is instead entirely about UMG, the music company that decided to publish, promote, exploit, and monetize allegations that it understood were not only false, but dangerous. As UMG knows and has known at all relevant times, these are unequivocally false. Again, you have to know it's false in order for it to be defamation. So Drake's team has to convey this. So here's the part that Drake has an issue with. So they're saying UMG knew that the allegations were false, fabricated. UMG waged an unrelenting campaign to spread the recording, image, and video together as widely as possible. So Drake's issue is you guys helped promote this song. So actually what happened first is the song rang off on social media. Everyone loved the song. So with any song where people are on an organic level are galvanizing around it, you'll then have the label come in and put more money behind it to spread it further. It's just a way that they can increase the song's reach, which increases their profits. So this is not only happening with diss songs, it's happening with every song, including songs by Drake. I'm sure Drake has had that same In My Feelings. When Scorpion album came out and then Nakiki, Do You Love Me? People will pick their song that they love and galvanize around it, and then the label can put more into it to make the song bigger. This is just normal music business. But Drake's thing is, you guys did this knowing what he was saying about me is false. And it hurt my career, and it led to my house getting shot up and people trying to break in because there was public vigilante justice that Kendrick suggested. And okay, I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying this is what he's saying. First, the more people who listen to, streamed, and watched the defamatory material, the more money UMG and executives will make. That's true. Second, UMG's Interscope record. Interscope owns Lamar's entire back catalog of recorded music. True. The leadership of Interscope, Jimmy Iovine, had every incentive to prove it could maximize Kendrick's sales after only recently persuading him to enter in his own direct license for a limited recording commitment of new music. So this just makes it seem, this is where it gets petty. Interscope had every incentive to prove it could maximize Lamar's sales after recently persuading him basically to leave TDE and start PG Lane. It's almost taking the credit away from what Kendrick did to you lyrically and saying, no, you didn't really do, like, you did what you did, but it wasn't as effective because you got help from the label. If the label didn't help you, it wouldn't have been effective. This is essentially what he's saying. You did that and you had the success because UMG pushed it. So this is more about Not Like Us, but this is completely ignoring the other #1 records that Kendrick Lamar had in this time, including Like That, featuring Future. Was that UMG like conspiring against Drake to help Kendrick Lamar because he just started PG Lane? No. Third, UMG's contract with Drake was nearing fulfillment, and on information and belief, UMG anticipated that extending Drake's contract would be costly. By devaluing Drake's music and brand, UMG would gain leverage to force Drake to sign a new deal on more favorable terms to UMG. So on one hand, this makes sense. Like, yeah, if we can sign you for cheaper, that would be great. But why would you enter a rap battle when you're in contract negotiations? If you're Drake, why enter a rap battle if you're in contract negotiations? Does that sound like a smart thing to do? No. So it's easy to say this because this is something a business would do. But this is all taking credit away from what Kendrick did. Kendrick really just iced you out on the track. Had the better song. The people agreed. You lost. And that was what it was. It is what it is. This lawsuit and the way Drake and his team are explaining it is the reason why this happened. It's almost like the reason why I lost is because UMG helped Kendrick win. But all of us who were there and were there in the moment and saw what happened, before these songs even got big enough to be on the radio, when like the day they dropped, people were calling it. Oh yeah, the push-ups, yo, that's a good track. Yo, Kendrick, where you at? Oh, Euphoria, okay, this is good, okay. Okay, then Kendrick goes, and then Not Like Us, and then Family Matters, and like Drake had already lost the battle when people hear the records. But the way this lawsuit is constructed, it's like Kendrick won because the companies were against me being Drake. Kendrick won because the companies were against Drake. That's what it makes it seem like. As opposed to Kendrick won because He had the better records. He had the better disses. Because Drake couldn't keep up with Kendrick's pace. Drake had one record he was holding on to the entire battle. He dropped it and everyone forgot about it. Family Matters. He didn't have enough material. That's why he lost. It's not because UMG put money behind it and all this. Like, did that help the record get bigger? Sure. And I guess Drake's team would say, well, by the record getting bigger, my house got shot up and people trying to break in. Okay, but is that defamation? Is that defamation of character? I don't know. The mob-like response to the recording continues to unfold on and offline. Recently, flyers were plastered all over Toronto with the photo of Drake and a Canadian YouTuber who was sentenced to 3 years in prison for assault with the words, "Canadian predators gotta stick together." Okay, that's what happened when you lose a rap battle, man. Do y'all remember what happened to Meek Mill after Back to Back came out? Back to Back by Drake. Y'all remember what happened to Meek Mill? Like, did Meek Mill come on and sue and be like, defamation? He said it was my girls' tour, not a world tour, but in fact, there was a war tour, and he actually knew it was a world tour, and he lied. It's defamation. Drake fears for the safety and security of himself, his family, and his friends. After the attacks on his home, Drake pulled his son out of the elementary school he attended in Toronto due to safety concerns. And once school ended for the summer, Drake arranged for his son and mother to leave Toronto entirely. Day-to-day, Drake takes steps to continue to address his persistent threats to his security. I think the threats to Drake's security in Toronto has more to do with the stuff he was saying about The Weeknd and calling The Weeknd homosexual and like, yo, your manager, then he was a blunt runner and you dude's a sissy, your boss is a sissy from the north. So I think that has more to do with the Toronto beef more than it has to do with Kendrick. But yeah, if you're compiling a lawsuit, yeah, why not just throw everything else in here? Like let's just throw a bunch of stuff in here and see what can stick. The recording is Not Like Us. Not Like Us accuses Drake of one of the most vile behaviors imaginable and explicitly calls for retaliatory violence and retribution against him. I don't remember that part of Not Like Us. I don't remember that part. Unless they're talking about, you think they're gonna let you disrespect Pac? Think some Oakland show gonna be your last time? That's not even about the PDF stuff. That bar is not about the PDF stuff. That bar is about Drake doing the whole Tupac thing and gimmick and trolling. So this part here is about Drake trying to speak to Lucian Grange, who owns, if I'm not mistaken, he's the CEO of UMG. Basically, Drake is telling them like, yo, what you guys are promoting, the Not Like Us song, it's false. I'm not a PDF. And then UMG obviously is like, okay, but we're still rolling with this song. This is the #1 song in the country, and we're going to continue to promote it like we do all the other songs that have motion from all of our artists. But Drake thinks this is some huge injustice against him. Oh no, they're promoting a diss record against me that is going viral, and everyone believes what the diss record is saying about me, so I'm going to sue the company. Honestly, it would just make more sense to sue Kendrick because Kendrick said the stuff that you're alleging he said. But I think Drake knows he would never come back from suing Kendrick. So to save face, he's like, I'm suing the company to speak on behalf of all artists. That was the whole play at first, right? Like I'm on behalf of all artists, and I'm doing this for the future of artists who's not gonna let these capitalistic corporate structures. Okay. Hey y'all, I am a one-man show. I record, edit the video myself, create the thumbnail, everything. So hitting like and subscribe does help a bunch. Thanks so much. Back to the video. But at the end of the day, you're sad that Not Like Us was super effective. Drake didn't expect to lose the numbers battle to Kendrick, and he lost it. On information and belief, Kendrick Lamar signed a short-term deal with UMG to see if UMG could prove its value to him, which would be to promote him more effectively than any other music company could in a compressed time frame. If successful, Lamar would continue his relationship with UMG through a new longer-term contract. That long-term deal was consummated in December 2024. So they're basically saying, yo, UMG did what Kendrick liked, what he expected them to do. So he signed a deal with them, longer-term deal in December 2024. Okay, so it's 81 page. I'll drop the link in the description if you guys want to read up on it. I don't think this lawsuit's going anywhere. I think this just prolongs the Drake L. Drake is prolonging his own L. No one behaved like this when Drake took out Meek Mill during the Meek Mill beef of 2015, 2016, whenever it was. No one, dang, was it that long ago? Dang, that 10 years ago almost. No one looked at Drake like he was defaming the guy or he was, oh, well, UMG helped promote back-to-back there and back-to-back she was saying it was my girl's tour, not the world tour. And he knew it wasn't my girl's tour, but he defamed me and he hurt my sales. And then one of my people got shot, and it's because of Drake. Like, no one did that. Meek Mill, it makes Meek Mill look like a more worthy competitor, even because Meek Mill just took the L. A year later, he dropped his album. I think it was called like Classic. He dropped his album and people were right back listening to Meek Mill's music. He took harm in the beginning because his performance in the beef against Drake was just so poor, and then Back to Back was everywhere, thanks to the record labels, by and part. It was everywhere thanks to the labels. Everyone, Back to Back was just as ubiquitous, as I'll say, but it was just as present as Not Like Us. Like, it was everywhere. It was on TV. It was on like Sports Center. It was in places where hip hop is usually not even mentioned. It was on Saturday Night Live. It was a whole Saturday Night Live skit about Back to Back. I'm sure the record label and the industry and the corpos who are so evil now because it's against Drake, those are the same people helping promote and entities helping promote Back to Back. So thing is, Meek Mill took his bumps, he took his lumps. People had jokes for him in the beginning, then he moved on. A year later, he drops his album. People still liked Meek Mill. Now, you can say the accusations made in Back to Back were not as harmful as the PDF accusations made and Not Like Us. Sure, you can take that route, but you can also take the route that Drake was never explicitly called a PDF and Not Like Us. If we want to play the semantics, we can play the semantics both ways. But Drake is just like extending this L. He's making this go on and on and on with this lawsuit stuff. And it's just not a good look. You lost a rap battle, so you sue the... Like that's like what he's doing is almost worse than just suing the artist flat out. Like, you lost a rap battle, then you sue. Not the person who dissed you. You sue the record label for promoting it. Like, they don't promote your music too. Like, they haven't promoted your diss records. Like, you didn't also make claims that could be seen as inflammatory, defamatory against Kendrick. I don't know, man. I thought when I saw that Drake had withdrew the petition, I thought, okay, he's moving on from this. But this is going on and on now. And it's just not a good look for Drake. It's not a good look. Like, if Drake was smart and he actually let's say we just believe Drake, right? Drake's team did feed Kendrick the information. They did set Kendrick up with the photo for Meet the Grams, all those little items. Let's say Drake does not have a daughter, right? If Drake was smart, then immediately after Meet the Grams drops, he would have had something. He would have had something. Like, it wouldn't have taken time, like, or he would have had a video of him and his team, like, yo, this is us setting Kendrick up. Look at the time and the date. Yo, we gonna send him this picture. We gonna tell him this. We gonna wait for him to drop the 616. We gonna show the video of us setting up that photo. And like, yo, this is a dumb nigga. Like, yo, this is retarded. Like, we about to set him up. They would have done that. And then immediately after Meet the Grams, imagine if The Heart Part 6 comes after Meet the Grams. Like, the same way, like, Drake would have been prepared because he knows with the info. I mean, he fed Kendrick the info about the daughter, right? So Drake should know what's coming. So it would have been a completely different feel if, you know how Family Matters drops and then Kendrick drops Meet the Grams right after. If Drake was actually feeding Dude the information right after Meet the Grams, Drake should have came with The Heart Part 6. And then this part of the song would have hit way harder.
We plotted for a week and then we fed you the information.
You plotted for a week, we fed you the information. The daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it.
A daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it.
Imagine if The Heart Part 6 comes out like, right, like, boom, Drake drops Family Matters, boom, Kendrick drops Meet the Grams, boom, Drake drops Heart Part 6 all same day. It would have felt different. What Drake did is he went on Instagram and responded to Meet the Grams. I don't know if y'all remember that. He went on Instagram and responded. He should have dropped the record. That would have completely nullified Meet the Grams. And then eyes would have been back on Family Matters. But yeah, this beef is viewed a lot differently. And even the tone of The Heart Part 6 is viewed a lot differently if Drake is actually prepared and he drops it right after Meet the Grams. Like, yeah, Kendrick, you think you exposing something? Yeah, you dumbass nigga. Like, come on, man. We plotted on you. And by the way, like, but we still at least feel Drake has a fighting chance as opposed to, damn, this nigga Kendrick is just beating up on him. Like, he dropped right after Family Matters, then he dropped again, and it's like now Heart Part 6, it doesn't even, the aggression that's on this record, just, it sounds like defeatedness. Then after Not Like Us, I heard a DJ say this, I think it was Cypher Sounds. Let's say Drake follows my plan. Like, boom, 616 drops. If you actually fed Kendrick the information, like you really set him up, you drop a video, boom. This is us setting him up. This is us putting that picture together. This is us texting his mans who's gonna text Kendrick the information. I dropped that right after you do 616.
Have you ever thought that OVO is working for me?
There is no more, dumbass nigga. Then I dropped the Family Matters. That's supposed to be the nuke, right? And then Kendrick drops to Meet the Grams to Step on It. Damn, no, then I dropped part 6. Same day. Okay. Then Kendrick comes back. Let's say it's the same timeline. Kendrick comes back next day or a couple hours later with Not Like Us. Then what do I do if I'm Drake? I heard a DJ say this. They say Drake should have remixed this song and changed it. The hook. They won't be us. They won't be us. Something like that. He should have remixed it. That way when because Not Like Us is a hit regardless, but at least that way when you play Kendrick Not Like Us, in a lot of places where they play this, they're going to play the Drake version too. Because it's going to be split on who likes which ones, especially if Drake murked the beat. Like if you play one, then you're going to play the other after. It's not just like Drake just getting on. But that's not what he did. Kendrick Lamar's record-breaking Grammy night. Yo, the guy just won 5 Grammys, swept the Grammys. I don't think he lost in one category that he was nominated for. He won Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Best Rap Song, Best Rap Performance, and Best Music Video. All of this off of Not Like Us, which at this point, Not Like Us is easily the greatest diss record of all time, right? I mean, there are more scathing diss records in hip hop history and even more scathing diss records that Kendrick put out in that beef with Drake, like Meet the Grams, but Not Like Us. We knew it was going to be a hit when it came out, but I think this exceeded so many expectations. Oh, everybody's singing. Listen to that. Everybody's singing it. Yo, you know when people say the worst thing that can happen to you in a rap beef is the diss song against you turns into a hit? This is like that times 5, 6, 7. This is crazy. Not only was it a hit record, Not Like Us, not only was it a hit record, the people at the Grammys, the bourgeoisie, they're screaming out A minor as Kendrick picks up his Grammy. And the sick part is this Grammys is taking place at the Crypto.com arena in LA. So this is like the Rams winning the Super Bowl, the LA Rams winning the Super Bowl in LA with an all LA halftime show. Like, this is big. Okay. So I think that Kendrick versus Drake beef is the greatest hip hop rap beef of all time. Thankfully, so far, no one has gotten hurt, and hopefully we can continue that. Hopefully we can see, and I know what I'm about to say is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, but when have I ever been scared of that, right? I hope Drake and Kendrick one day can shake hands, just like Jay-Z and Nas did, just like Gucci Mane and Jeezy did. Shake hands. They don't got to be best friends, but squash the beef, move on from it. It's a little early to be asking for that now. As I record this video, it's going to come out the night before the Super Bowl, where Kendrick does his halftime performance, where we're all expecting him to perform Not Like Us, and everyone across the country, across the world is going to be screaming A minor at the top of their lungs, right? But I hope one day it does get to a point where these guys can shake hands. I said this on a live stream, one of my live streams before. I live stream Fridays at 7 p.m. Feel free to join. I said it on my live stream before, and people were against the idea. Like, Kendrick and Drake, it's gone too far. They should never shake hands. I will be so disappointed in Kendrick. But I think that is a very juvenile way to look at things. This rap beef between Drake and Kendrick has not gone too far. Too far is what happened between Jeezy and Gucci Mane. There is an actual hit put out on someone. Someone actually got murdered in that rap beef, right? And they still managed to come and shake hands at the Gucci and Jeezy versus battle. And they're not best friends. I mean, that probably doesn't change how they feel about each other, but it does change how the others feel. People in their crew, people in Atlanta. It kind of quells the tensions. And I want this because it's just a good look for the youth. It's a good look for up and coming rappers to say, hey, even if we have a disagreement, even if we don't see eye to eye and we said vile things about each other on record and in interviews, etc., that doesn't mean at the end of the day, we still can't come together for the greater good of just showing the youth and showing our friends and family, our colleagues, something different, a better way to move about things. So I do hope that happens between Drake and Kendrick at some point. Obviously, it's a little early to be asking for that. Jay-Z and Nas, that's a situation that almost went too far. You know, Jay-Z is on record talking about, there's a woman that Jay-Z and Nas had in common, and Jay-Z is on record talking about, condoms and baby seats, and I was in the back of your car with your girl, and Jay-Z actually went on record and apologized for that on the radio. He had to apologize for that record. And that's a situation where things were kind of said that were a little too far. I don't think the Drake and Kendrick thing went to that level, or it's nowhere near the level of a Jeezy and Gucci Mane. So if those guys can piece it up, be men, I expect Drake and Kendrick to do the same eventually. It took years before Jay-Z and Nas shook hands and pieced it up, and it took probably a decade plus before Jeezy and Gucci Mane did it. I just think it would be a good look for the hip hop community. And I think that's a good trend to start. We can have these rap beefs. Hip hop are like the only music genre with this commonality of having rap beefs, artists beefing with each other, and it being a thing like that on record. So if we're going to have that, it's like hockey with fighting. Hockey is like the only sport where you could really throw hands, and the referee is officiating it like it's the UFC. So if we're going to have that level of vitriol and that uniqueness about us, I would also like us to have the situation where we can, at the end of it, we're expected to piece it up. This is what we do. Yeah, we duke it out, we fight as a genre, but then we piece it up. I think that's the mature thing to do. I think that's the grown man thing to do. And I fully expect it to happen. I know some of y'all might lose respect for Kendrick if he does it. Some of y'all might lose respect for Drake if he does it. I would lose respect for both of them if they didn't do it. So, that's all I got for today. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. That's the recap. That's the full recap, the ultimate recap. Be sure to share this with people, social media, Reddit. Throw it out there, man. I worked hard on these reactions. I worked hard on these lyric breakdowns. And y'all can still go to my channel right now and watch my reactions to all of these songs. My first reactions to all of them. I know I didn't have 616 in LA on this video, but I did the reaction to that. All of them, first reactions on my channel. So yeah, that's all I got for today. Be sure to subscribe. If you're watching at this point, you watch all 2 hours of this, salute to you. Be sure to subscribe, please, if you haven't already. This is top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.